Hi guys, welcome to my channel. To my returning subscriber, thank you for always coming around. Please, if you're new on this channel, do well to subscribe, like, comment and share the video. Today we are going to be drafting this beautiful pencil skirt, and we are going to attach it to an upper body as you can see above. Okay, so if you're interested, please stay tuned. Let's get started. So I've gone ahead to I'm going to be cutting the front block first, and I've gone ahead to fold it into two. I'm ruling a line at the upper body, at the upper part. This line is going to serve as our start line. Every measurement is going to be starting from that line I'm ruling now. Let me make it thicker so that you can see it. Yeah. How I folded it is your biggest body circumference. My hip is the biggest. Hip divided by 4 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. So let's continue. Let's place our vertical measurements. Remember I told you the line I ruled is our start line. So what I'm placing now is my full length. I'm placing the full length I'm working with plus 2 inches hemming allowance. Sorry, I didn't know the camera wasn't getting the end part. But what I just placed now is your full length plus 2 inches hemming allowance. Then I connected with my rule. The line I have above, which I call the start line, can equally be called your waistline. So from the waist, I'm measuring my hip line. I'm working with a hip line of 8 inches. So I measure it that way. Then after that, from my waist, I'm measuring to my knee line. My knee is 21. I came up by 2 inches. 21 and I came up by 2 inches. So that is 19 inches over there. Then I'll rule it. I will equally connect the 2 points. That's my hip line. Okay. So next is our vertical measurement. So here I'm placing my waist divided by 4. 9.5 plus 1 inch for that and 2 inches sewing allowance. On the hip line, I'm placing my hip divided by 4 plus 2 inches sewing allowance, and I connected it up to the waistline. Then on my knee, I'm going to measure what I have on my waist. Then I'll minus 1.5 from it and place on my knee line. Actually here you can minus 2, 1 or 1.5 depending on how penciled you would want it to be. So after that, I'm going to measure what I have there on my knee line and place it at the hem line. That way, exactly what I have on my knee is what I placed on the hem line, and I'm going to connect it. It's equally optional on what you place on your hem line. Okay, you can decide to either reduce it or place exactly same thing. So now I'm going to be sloping the mid part of my waist. I went down there now by half an inch and I'll connect it back this way. The essence is to avoid puffiness. There is this puffiness that is always there after sewing a pencil skirt. So it's always good to trim out half an inch on the mid part this way, so that your skirt can fit in properly. So now I'm measuring and placing my dart measurements. I'll be placing my dart on 3.5. So that is what I measured there, and I made a notch. Okay. So the next thing we are going to do now is to cut out what we've measured. It's that simple. Let's do it together. As we are cutting, please don't forget to subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. So I'm done cutting the front panel. Let me set it aside. Bring another material which I have folded into two. So I'm going to use this to cut the back panel now. So how do I do it? We'll place the front on it, making sure you have at least 2 inches left, and this 2 inches is going to serve as your zipper allowance. So you have to cross check and be sure. Okay, make sure what you have left is at least up to the measurement you need for your zipper. Zipper allowance is not actually a standard that you use 2 inches. You can use 1 inch, 1.5, but for this purpose I'm going to be using 2 inches. Is that okay? So this my rule is exactly 2 inches. Yeah, so I'm going to place it like that and make a mark. So I'm going to make a mark all the way down. This is going to serve as my zipper allowance. So now that we have our zipper allowance all ruled out, you're now going to adjust the front panel. Can you see what I'm doing? I'm adjusting it, making sure the midpoint is resting exactly at where the zipper allowance starts. Then I will cut through. Every other part is the same. Every other part is same except the fact that it has a zipper allowance for the back. So after cutting, I'm going to make a notch. Yes, I'm making a notch there at where the full length ended. So now let's work on the zipper allowance to create our butt allowance. You know the back now, the butt part should be shoot out. So you adjust it from the zipper allowance. See what I'm going to do there? From the waistline, I went in by half an inch. Then the hipper part, it has 2 inches. After the hip, I went in again by half an inch and all the way down. Can you see? I'm removing half an inch all the way down, to accommodate the butt. When you do it that way, it gives a unique fitting at the back part. Can you see what I have there? I went in by half an inch over there, came out by half an inch, then went in by half an inch all the way down. Okay, so that is how we should be. Let's cut it out. Just take a close look at how I'm cutting it. Can you see that? Half inches at the waist, came out by half inches at the hip line, went in by half inches from the knee line all the way down to the hem. So that's how it should be. Okay, so now I'm going to be sloping the back too. I'm going to be sloping the back by half an inch, and I will connect it to the midpoint this way. Can you see what I did? In this way, your zipper at the back is going to sit pretty with no form of bulging. So don't forget to always do this to the back panel each time you're cutting a skirt of any kind. Okay, so at the zipper, make a notch this way. Make a notch this way so that you know where the zipper is supposed to start. So this is it. We are done with the cutting of the front and back panel. I'm going to set it aside, get my lining and cut off camera and show you. Okay, so I'm done cutting my lining. So this is my lining now. This is for the front block. Yeah, this is the main material for the front block. I've equally cut the lining for the back panels. So this is what I'm going to do now. Can you see the lining is shorter? The lining is shorter than the main fabric. So what I'm going to do now is face good side facing each other, and I'm going to sew. In fact, I'll take you to my sewing machine and we'll sew by half an inch. Yeah, so this is it. We are going to sew it now. The good side of the fabric facing the good side. The lining doesn't actually have a good or bad side. So I believe you understand. So let's sew it with 1/2 inch. Okay, this way. So this is it after joining. Okay, I joined it with 1/2 inch. Can you see? I told you the lining is shorter. So what you do is you pick up the lining and the fabric and you draw it down this way. Can you see? So some part of the main fabric will be going towards the back, will be complementing the remaining part of the lining, so that at the edge of your work, your lining will not be showing, instead your fabric will be there. So this is how it's supposed to be. You make sure everything is aligning properly. Okay, yeah, but before I do that, remember we made a notch at where the dart is going to be. So I'm going to be placing the dart there. It's going to be 1/2 inch, and I will sew it down to 5 inches. Okay, so I will do that on the two sides that requires a dart in the front. Okay, I'll equally do it in the lining, then get back to you. So this is it. I'm done. See the dart for the back panel, both on the lining and the main fabric. Can you see that? I equally did it for the second part of the back panel, the darts. Can you see that? I went down by 5 inches. I equally did it for this one too, which is the front block. See the two darts in the front, both for the lining and the main fabric. Sewn the sides. I'm going to flip through now. I'm going to be turning it out. So I'll turn it out, iron, get back to you and tell you what next we are going to be doing. So I'm done ironing it, and this is what we'll have now. I'm done ironing and this is what we'll have. Okay, the next thing we are going to do now is to join the two sides. So we are going to be joining the back to the front panel. Can you see what I'm doing? I've sprayed out the front panel. I'm placing the back on top of the front, and I will be joining. When I was drafting, remember we left 2 inches for sewing allowance. I've already sewn the lining to the main fabric with 1/2 inch, so I'm left with 1.5 inches. So now I'm going to join the two sides with the remaining 1.5 inches and get back to you. So this is it. I'm done joining. I equally went ahead to attach it to this beautiful shoulder bustier. I have a tutorial on how I cut and made this upper body. It's very simple, it's very easy, it's explicit, and it's beginner friendly. I think it will be interesting, it will be nice if you check out the channel to see the tutorial on the upper part. So this is it, looking so pretty. Thank you for watching to this point. God bless you. I appreciate, and please do well to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, share, like, and turn on the notification button as I am posting more and more videos every day.